What is up, guys? Toss here. Welcome back to another video. So I'm back. I'm back from my vacation. Did you guys miss me? Probably not, but I'm back and excited to be back on the schedule. And if you guys didn't know, I was actually in the mountains for the past couple of days, up in the Poconos, which is in Pennsylvania, about 2-3 hours away from me. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys have been there. But again, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about 12 stocks. I have 12 stocks written here that I want to break down, that I'm looking to maybe buy for this week. And I also, since I didn't upload on Friday, I also wanted to break down the market, the S&P 500, do a quick technical analysis to see where that's trading at right now and what to expect for this upcoming week. So hit the like, subscribe, make sure to get your 2 stocks from WeBull, $30 from M1 Finance, join the Strive Smart Discord chat and the Facebook group. All of those are down below and they're free, and let's just get right into it. So first and foremost, let's break down the S&P 500, which is what you guys see right here. And on Friday, we ended up closing up 6 points above 3,900 at about 3906.71, exactly at 3906.71. And we actually had a red day. We ended up going down on Friday, down 7 points, down almost 0.2%. And you guys can see the price action here on the 5-day, 5-minute chart. It is pretty much in line with what we've been talking about these past couple of days. Well, last week, and in the past week, let's say, and a little bit has changed. So I want to go over that now. So what we see here is still the all-time high is 3950, right? And we've been making lower highs, but recently, the past 2 days, the last 2 days of trading rather, we actually started to make higher lows. You guys can see here we bottomed at 38.85 on Thursday, hit a bottom of about 39.05 on Friday, which, since we're making those higher lows and those lower highs, we're squeezing deeper into this wedge. And on Friday, you guys can see here, which is not too great for the bulls, we can see here that another lower high was made right around 39.30 as we failed to break out of the high from the trading day on Wednesday, which the high was right around 39.34 roughly. So we hit a lower high again. Now we're squeezing deeper into this wedge, and as of now, the futures market isn't open. Maybe later in the video, if we're still filming at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we could cover the futures market to see kind of where that's trading at, and if it's gapping up, gapping down, or just looking pretty flat. We'll see in a little bit, if I'm still filming in about 30 minutes, how that ends up going down. Actually, it's about 20 minutes away from now, so we'll probably be able to wrap around back at the end of the video. So what we're seeing here is, again, squeezing deeper and deeper into the wedge. What direction are we going to pick? Are we going to break out of, let's say, 39.20? Because, guys, if this bounces back up, let's say we gap up, 39.20 is the resistance of the wedge, and it's going to test. If we break out of that, and if we start breaking out of the highs from Friday, 39.30, and the high from Wednesday at about 39.34, if that happens, that's going to be a very good sign for the bulls that maybe we're going back to all-time highs. And of course, on the flip side, if we end up breaking the support of this wedge, we dump under 3,900, we dump under 38.85, which was the low from Thursday, I believe. Yeah, that's on Thursday. If we break out of that low or break down below that low, we might be going, and I've been saying this a lot on the channel here, we might be going 3,800s, mid 3,800s, even high 3,700s. I believe that is also possible on the lower end here when it comes to this 4-hour chart. So watch out for that wedge. Again, that wedge is on the 5-day, 5-minute, and we'll wrap around here in a little bit to talk about the futures. And let me know your thoughts. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments. What are you guys thinking? Are you buying? Are you selling stocks? Are you in cash? Are you mostly in the markets? What are your thoughts? Let me know right down below. And now let's talk about some stocks, guys. Let's talk about some stocks, and a lot of these, most of them, other than the last couple, there's 2 at the end we're going to talk about, all of these, other than those two at the end, they're reporting earnings this week. We have a jam-packed week when it comes to earnings, and company number one is Upwork, and we actually called this out on Patreon. I believe it was last week. We called this move out, and it played out beautifully. You guys can see here on the 20-day chart, I think it was this day we called it out. It dumped down. It popped up the next day. It ended up hitting another all-time high at about $60. And now what we're seeing is a dump-off, and rightfully so. I mean, this stock got very overbought. The price just kept going up and up and up, and it needed to cool off, and that's what we got. I mean, we dumped from 60 down to about 52. That was a drop of almost 15%, and it looks like we actually held a higher low at this 50 SMA on this 4-hour chart. And look at that. On Friday, we ended up ripping up higher, almost, 6.5%. Wow, over 6% on the day, ripping up on Friday. That's a good sign that the bulls want to take this thing higher heading into earnings, which I don't think I mentioned. Earnings are coming out on the 23rd, so that is on Tuesday. So I wouldn't be surprised if the markets were overall healthy tomorrow. Let's say they were green, even slightly, I don't want to say red, but let's say they were flat even. I think Upwork could be an outperformer, no doubt about it, heading into earnings. And let's say the markets were to crash tomorrow, down 2%, even 1.5%. I think Upwork would probably follow and drop as well. Or who knows, it might not. It could be an outlier and still go up. But either way, Upwork is one that broke out Friday, and I think there is momentum this week for this stock. And stock number two is JMIA, also known as Jumia Technologies, guys. And this stock got beaten down last week, and rightfully so as well. I mean, this got very overheated. It went to almost $70 a share. Now it's trading at a nice $55 per share. It went down, and it's still in a bear market, down over 20% from its peak. And you guys can see last week, it got hit pretty hard, and the past two trading days, or should I say the last two trading days, we kind of found support in the lower to mid 50s. You guys can see here 53.30 held. This was on Thursday and during the session and in the after hour session. Then on Friday it gapped up and it held 55, and it actually went up even more in the after hour session. So Jumia, I don't want to say this is for sure the bottom. It could very well go down more, but I think this could be the bottom. There's a good chance that it could be the bottom. Not a 100% chance, but a pretty good chance. And we were even more oversold. We still are oversold. So this could be a nice snapback play, maybe from 57 to 62, 65. I think that is very possible. And earnings, again, are on the 24th. And I almost forgot, guys, I don't have this stock on my list here, but it just popped up in my head, and they are not reporting earnings this week. They already did last week. And this stock is Fastly. And good thing I remembered this, because this is on my relief rally watch list, my bounce back watch list, my extremely just beaten down oversold watch list. Because look at this. I haven't seen something like this in a while. I mean, this stock went from 120 straight down to $80 in the span of literally, no joke, 4 to 5 trading days. That is a ridiculous drop of over 35, almost 35%. So I think Fastly, although their earnings weren't fantastic, they weren't bad either. I would say they were okay. I mean, I think this could be a bounce back, and it could rally and see a snapback. Don't be surprised if it snaps back into the high 80s, maybe into the low 90s, right around this point right here where my cursor is. That is where we could be going. So watch out for Fastly. That's a bounce back play. And same with Jumia. Although Jumia is not as oversold as Fastly, but I guess you could put both of those in the same category. And another one here is Square, guys. And you all know I made some money with this one recently. I ended up selling out of it, and of course it's gone up more after I sold out of it, but that's okay because what I preach here, and I try not to get too preachy, you guys know that, but what I like to do, one of my philosophies is not to grab the entire move. Don't get too greedy. Nobody is smart enough to catch the stock, every stock from the bottom and ride it all the way to the tippy top and sell. That's just unrealistic. And what I like to talk about here and what I do is grab a piece of the pie. It could be, half of the move. Let's say a stock moves 10%. It could be half that. You get your 5% and you leave. It could even be 10% of the move if you're very conservative, right? So that's just what I like to do. And I'm not knocking myself whatsoever, guys, for selling out of Square. But I am watching it for a potential re-entry because they are reporting earnings on Tuesday. That is the 23rd of this month, which is in 2 days from now on Sunday, when most of you guys are watching this video. And we can see here that Square, it could be in breakout territory, shall I say. We see here a big resistance at about 280 to 283, 282 even. And it looks like we already did make a inverse head and shoulder, the left shoulder here, the head right here, and then the right shoulder. And again, big resistance at 280, 282, 283 to the point where this could be a buy the breakout candidate. It could be a stock that, no joke, if it breaks 280, it could go as crazy as it sounds, and with a good earnings report on the 23rd, this could go 290, 295, maybe even 300. I would not be surprised if Square went $300, especially if the markets weren't extremely in the red this week. Let's say they were flat or even went up a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if Square did very well, if they outperformed, especially with how Bitcoin has been doing. And we'll talk more about Bitcoin here in the end of the video, so make sure you guys stay tuned. And if you haven't done so already, hit that like button. Let's try to get 400 likes on this video. I challenge you guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. That's very important if you guys want to see these daily updates, and make sure to turn on notifications. You see that bell next to the subscribe channel, hit that, turn on all notifications, and yeah, let's get back into the video and talk more about these stocks. And guys, I think Square could be a breakout candidate, no doubt about it. And Home Depot is another one that, if you all remember, I'm not sure if you guys do, I'm sure some of you do if you watch my videos religiously. You probably remember we were talking about HD recently, and Home Depot is one that was in a heavy descending triangle pattern. Big support at 260, 265, but we were making lower highs into that support, and the way a descending triangle plays out is it ultimately breaks under that support and continues, or rather starts and really continues that downtrend. And you guys can see if this were to drop under 260, 265, that support, it could have gone down to 250, 255, 245, and we can see the opposite happened. It actually didn't break the support. The descending triangle did not play out. In fact, we broke out of the descending triangle. We broke 270, we gapped up to 285, pulled back, held an uptrend multiple times, and now we're trading at about 280, and now we're finding ourselves in an ascending triangle, right? Resistance at 285, but we're making higher lows into that resistance. So I'd like to see what happens at 285. Do we break 285? Do we go to 290, 295, maybe back up to $300 plus? So that would be the first time it could touch $300 per share, which is crazy. So they report earnings on what? The 23rd. So they're on Tuesday as well. So watch out for Home Depot, anywhere from 280, 285. That's very interesting. And their competitor, which arguably is a better hold, a better stock, I don't know. I mean, I like both Home Depot and Lowe's. Which one do you like more? Let me know in the comments. You guys can see Lowe's is looking pretty decent as well. They report earnings on the 24th, so that's on Wednesday, the day after Home Depot. And we also covered this one a couple weeks ago. You guys can see my analysis from a couple weeks ago. Now that we're fast forward a couple weeks, it ended up playing out. You can see the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. Now that's a beautiful inverse head and shoulder. It doesn't get more textbook looking than this right here. And it played played out beautifully. We held the neckline at 155. We ended up filling the right shoulder up to 170. Then it ended up filling all the way to 180, which is where we are right now. We're actually right at that 180 resistance that we were at back in the middle of October, and this kind of looks like square in a sense, but square, the pattern is much more condensed, and let me explain what I'm talking about. Again, square was a buy the breakout, and we can see it here on the 5-day, 5-minute, and this is arguably an inverse head and shoulder as well, like we talked about. You can see if 280 breaks, boom, it could go 290, 300, like we said. And back on lows, again, we already kind of did that inverse head and shoulder. And I think if we break 180, I think 185, 190 could be in store for this stock, no doubt about it. And you guys can see, I mean, look, this is an ascending triangle as well. We're uptrending, higher lows into the resistance at 180. And with earnings coming up here on the 24th, man, I think this one is pretty attractive. And Nvidia on the flip side maybe isn't the most attractive where it is right now, although you could argue it is. I don't know, to be honest. I'm not, out of all these stocks, I'm not looking to rush into Nvidia. There's many other ones that we talked about already and that we're going to talk about later that I'd much rather get into. But I feel like I'd be doing you guys a disservice by not talking about Nvidia because they report earnings here on what? The 24th. So that's on Wednesday. And what we see here is, first and foremost, Nvidia. It played out exactly like we talked about here on the channel. And if you all remember, we were watching Nvidia and talking about Nvidia and waiting for Nvidia to make this move, and it finally did it. We were talking about this wedge here. We were squeezing deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and then finally when we broke the wedge, we were struggling under 545, and I was telling you guys if 545 could break, there's upside from there, probably back into the 600 level. And what do you know? 545, it broke. Take a look at this massive green candle. In one day, the stock went from 545 in the pre-market all the way to almost 580. That was about a 9, or actually not a 9, I can't read, guys, a 6% move. That was about a 6% move. And for a company the size of Nvidia, you guys have to realize that is no joke. We're talking billions of dollars of market cap being added in a day. And then it just kept going up after that from 570 to 590. We broke the high at about 600. We went to 615. And now recently we pulled back to about 585, 590. Looks like we held a higher low on, I believe, Thursday. We bounced up on Friday, went up 0.7%. And I'm not too convinced that this is breaking out, which is why, again, I said there are other stocks that I like more than Nvidia, but I'm still watching it. I mean, if we can get a clear-cut hold above 590, 600, maybe we bounce and break back above the high from Friday at about 606, 607. If we break that, maybe then we could catch a play, and maybe this is an inverse head and shoulder in the making as well in the early stages, or not really in the early stages, but, you know, you guys can see what I mean. The left shoulder, the head, could this be the right shoulder where we pop back up to the all-time high? It very well could be. So I'm watching Nvidia. CRM is another one, which they're reporting on the 25th. So what is that? That's Thursday. And CRM, we've also covered a lot here on the channel. You know, it dumped down from 260 to 213. We held the higher low at 213. Inverse head and shoulder action here as well. Let me show you guys that. Let me pull up my little oval tool. You can see here the inverse head and shoulder, the left, right? You can see the head right here. And then you could also see the right shoulder. And this is not the cleanest looking inverse head and shoulder, but it still looks kind of like one a little bit. And now we filled the gap all the way to the wedge, the resistance of this wedge on the 4-hour chart, which is right around, let me show you guys here, at about 245 to about 250. So I think if CRM could break this point, good earnings as well here on the 25th. I think we could be making a push towards 260, 265 even, and even 270. I think 270 is probably the upper end target for now. I think if we got to 270, that would be a bit exhausted, the rally. I think I'd have to pull down from there. So yeah, from 250 to 260, 270, that's kind of where I'm watching CRM right now. Etsy is another one, ETSY. This one is also kind of like Nvidia. It's I don't want to say it's extremely overbought, but it's not at the best price where I like it compared to some other stocks here, but I still want to cover it, and it's still a decent opportunity in my honest opinion. They report earnings here on the 25th, and what do you see here? We actually hit an all-time high at 240, and let me actually clear this drawing set to show you even better. Like I said, we hit an all-time high, and we're seeing a resistance at 240, but we're also making higher lows into that resistance. So yet again, we're seeing an ascending triangle here, and we can see it squeezed up almost 3% on Friday. It went up almost 3%, and we held a higher low at 215. So I think Etsy, on second thought, it might be a better play than I initially thought about a minute ago, and I might have to put this higher in my, in my watch list in terms of priority. So yeah, I could see Etsy go for maybe 228 and maybe test the high 230s, to be honest. And if 240 could break, hey, that could be the push to an all-time high, obviously, and the ascending triangle would play out at that point. So watch out for Etsy. Again, earnings are on the 25th, and another one here, which I really like here, guys, is DraftKings, ticker symbol DKNG, and talk about strength on Friday when the markets were not that great. They were red for the most part. DraftKings went up 4.5%. They report earnings here on the 26th. So what is that, on Friday, or is that Thursday? Either way, they report earnings on the 26th. And again, 4.5% up on Friday. And take a look at the reversal here that we're seeing on DraftKings. I could pull up the 10-day chart. You'll be able to see it. We're making lower highs, lower lows, all that jazz these past couple of days. And on Friday, again, we gapped up. We broke out of the 50 SMA, the downtrend, and the 180 SMA on this 10-day chart. And we're actually about to see a bullish cross on this 10-day chart, which means a smaller time frame moving average is crossing above a larger time frame moving average. And what that means in the gist of that is it's a bullish trend reversal. And the opposite of that, and a lot of traders call it this, is the death cross. That is when a smaller time frame moving average crosses below a larger time frame moving average, and that could signal, okay, there might be some bearish price action coming. We could be going lower. That could be a bad sign, especially if you're holding on to a stock and you're looking to get out in the short term. That is not the best thing. So at this point, we're seeing a bullish cross happening almost, and that's very good for the bulls, obviously. And I could see easily DraftKings going up to test the all-time high at about $65. And I really could see that happening as we head deeper into the week, closer and closer into, or closer to the period where DraftKings is going to report earnings. I could easily see us go to the highs or maybe even break out of those highs. So that's DraftKings, DKNG. We have a couple more, so don't click out just yet, guys. We have a couple more stocks here. Beyond Meat, and this is one that could be on the reversal list. I mean, we talked about FSLY, we talked about Jumia, and Beyond Meat is not as oversold as them, but still, the stock has gone from $227 after they got that Pepsi deal. That was big news. And, it sold off. The hype kind of died down a little bit from $227 down to $160. So this is well into a bear market. And now we're actually approaching some old resistances. And I'm looking to see if we hold those as new supports, right? And 155, 157, that was actually resistance back in the middle of September. Also back in the end, or actually no, in the beginning of November. So I would like to see if 155 holds. If that does, maybe we get a snap back into the high 160s, low 170s. I think that's possible. And Beyond Meat actually reports earnings here on the 25th. So watch out for this. This could be a snapback play. BBY is another one. Best Buy, which we called out an inverse, or not an inverse, a regular head and shoulder a couple weeks ago, right? Left shoulder here, the head, the right shoulder. And now we're actually fighting with this neckline. The neckline here on the head and shoulder is at about 120 bucks. You can see here left shoulder peaked at 120, and the right shoulder now, if it doesn't break out of 120, it could very well complete and fall down to 110, even the low hundreds. That would be the completion of the right shoulder, right? But if we break out of 120, the head and shoulder goes out the window, and then we could see BBY end up making a move, I think, mid to high 120s to test that high from back in the beginning of November. So BBY, they report earnings on the 25th. So yeah, guys, get ready. These next couple of days, they are going to be jam-packed. And yeah, I think BBY has some potential here. And to end off the video, I promised we were going to talk about Bitcoin. And oh man, has Bitcoin been crazy. Last time I checked, about an hour ago, Bitcoin was trading at almost $60,000 a coin. And that is just ridiculous, guys. I remember it seemed like yesterday, but in reality, it was like 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. I forget exactly the date, but I was talking to you guys. I made a video how I bought more Bitcoin at 31,000, 35,000. I believe I bought at the high at that point at 38,000 as well. And at that point, those were the highs. And it's crazy to think that fast forward a couple weeks, we're already at 60,000. And if you guys don't remember, and by the way, I heavily suggest you guys go check out some crypto videos I made. If you guys don't remember, I was buying Bitcoin, and I made a video about this back in May when it was 9,000 a coin. That's when I started buying back into it, and it's just been ripping up like crazy since then. And a lot of these stock plays have been as well. You know, Mara is one that I'm watching for this week. This one up 5% on Friday. It's still, as of now, down $7 from its high, so this could be a dip buy. Same thing with RIOT. You guys can see here, RIOT is down about $13 from its high. But guys, with Bitcoin, how crazy it's been moving, who knows? This could be up, both of these, RIOT and Mara, these could be up 20% in the pre-market, 10%, 15%, 5%. They could be up a ton. So you have to be careful. Don't FOMO into these. But if they see a dip, let's say if RIOT somehow were to drop 10% or go down a little bit, same with Mara, I might be picking some up in the weakness as Bitcoin has just been ridiculously bullish. So yeah, I'm looking at Mara, I'm looking at RIOT, and of course all those other stocks. And now let's wrap up the video with the futures. We actually ended off this video at 6:04. The futures market just opened about 4 minutes ago, and it's green. The E-mini S&P futures, they're up 0.2%. NASDAQ futures, they're up almost 0.3%, so that's good for big tech. That's looking pretty good. And the Dow futures, they're up 0.2%. And again, remember what I said earlier in the video, we have to watch the downtrend on all of these indexes. You guys can see here on the Dow futures, there's a lower high that's about to be tested at 31,500 roughly. So do we break that? Do we go up to test the highs? The S&P futures, we're seeing another similar thing here. We're obviously seeing resistance at about 39.30 like we talked about. Do we gap out of that? So these are a couple of things I'm watching heading into tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you guys want some free money, check out that WeBull link. You get 2 stocks valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is deposit $100 and you get 2 stocks. And you could also get $30 from M1 Finance by simply opening up an account, depositing any amount of money, and those are linked down below. Same with the Patreon. If you guys want buy and sell alerts, real-time buy and sell alerts from me, call outs throughout the day, morning exclusive morning update videos every morning, Monday through Friday, going over, breakout stocks in real time, all that good stuff. If you guys want to support the Patreon, that is linked down below in the description box as well. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching as always. Stay safe out there. Keep crushing the markets, guys. Peace out.